Yael didn't do much in the way of communicating with Hunter about what they're feeling and about the state of their relationship, but neither did Hunter. Hunter too had a role to play in their relationship breakdown. And what makes it worse is it's the same issue that he had as early as season 3. He doesn't talk to Yael about everything, even though they've made it clear in the past that that's what they want. They want to communicate like they used to before they got together, back when they were just friends, best friends. When Hunter found out that Yael has body hair and he isn't into that, his first thought wasn't to talk to Yael about it. Sure, he wanted to not offend Yael, but Yael would have wanted that discussion, even if Yael wanted to still have body hair. And when that body hair showed in their yearbook picture, Hunter didn't go to Yael first or at all about whether or not they wanted it in the picture. He talked to everyone else about what they would have wanted if they were Yael, and just got an idea of what girls generally want instead of what Yael in particular wants. He thought he was doing the right thing because it seemed from everyone else's perspective that those who identify as female wouldn't want such lack of maintenance showing, but he didn't get the one person who it mattered most to's opinion on it. And this isn't a new issue either. Recall back in season 3 when he didn't go to Yael about getting a boner for Lola. Yael's issue with the whole entire thing was that Hunter didn't talk to them about it, especially because it's something that they would have discussed if they were still just friends. And Hunter had resolved that he was going to go to Yael with these things, that he would open up communications. But obviously, that's still not the case. Not to say this isn't realistic. You can learn a lesson in one particular situation and not apply it to another similar situation, even though upon reflection it should have been. And then after they do have a conversation about Hunter not being into the body hair and being confused about what's going on with Yael and them not wanting to make out anymore, there really wasn't a resolution, and you can tell that Hunter isn't quite satisfied with where they leave the conversation, because nothing came of it. Nothing was resolved. But Hunter didn't bring it up again. Probably again for fear of hurting Yael or upsetting them, but it still obviously bothered Hunter enough to go to Baz and BJ about it, and Yael having to hear it from them that it was still a concern. Really, Hunter should have brought that back up with Yael. But I'm not here to bash Hunter or blame him for the breakdown of his relationship with Yael, because really it's both their faults. Communication is something they're just not good at, and nowhere is it better to see than in the scene when Yael comes out to Hunter as genderqueer. Hunter's issue isn't that Yael is genderqueer. His issue is what label then does it apply to him for him to be in a relationship with them? Does it mean he's gay? Is he pansexual or some other sort of sexual? He likes girls, so what does that mean for him and Yael? He's getting caught up on labels, but Yael isn't seeing that. Instead, they're feeling that Hunter just can't accept them as anything except a girl, and they can't continue to have a romantic relationship unless they are a girl, which isn't necessarily the case. The trouble is, neither of them are seeing what the other person is saying and what their issue actually is. Instead, they're misinterpreting each other's words and not hearing each other's points at all. And I think had Yael not come out as genderqueer, if they just remained as they were from the beginning, I still think we would have seen the same situation come up, only in a different context, because they're both not good at communicating with each other. They don't know how to translate their words into a way that the other person would understand it. And they don't know how to listen and recognize when someone else doesn't share their means of communication or worldview. Hunter cares about labels, and Yael actively rejects them. It's a major communication roadblock that neither of them can really understand at the moment because it's a totally different point of view from their own. Now, this isn't to say that they can never work past their communication troubles. I think Hunter needs some time to really think about and consider the situation, figure out his feelings on things, and then get together and talk to Yael. Don't jump into anything, just talk to Yael about what's going on, what being genderqueer means to them, and then what it means to their relationship, and specifically what it means to Hunter, and have a discussion about labels, the pros and cons. And I think they can be really helped with some couples counseling or some sort of third-party mediator to help bridge the gap between them. Of course, not Baz or VJ, because as we can see, they're not really good at communication themselves. See the scene with Saad trying to talk at the rally and explain his point. And it looks like they might be on the road to some sort of friendship, or at least an acquaintanceship after the whole thing. Even after they had that argument in season 9, they were seen again sitting next to each other at Hunter's house. They didn't talk to each other, and it could have been that the writers just needed Yael to be in the same room as Lola and Frankie to talk about the bomb threat from last night, and maybe it's a sort of plot hole that they were in the same room so soon. But until it's proven otherwise, I think it's a sign that they want to continue to work on their relationship. They want to at least have each other in their lives and not give up everything that they've been and all the feelings they hold for each other. And actually, it might not necessarily be a plot hole. It might just be something that we, again, have to interpret from little hints and details put into the episode. Maybe they would have gone into it more if they had time, but again, this isn't the first time Degrassi's ever done something like this. Actually, if you watch season 1 of TNG, there's a lot of issues between friends and fights, but by next episode, they're friends again, without any sort of explanation or on-screen resolution. Still, I hope that the show continues to build on Hunter and Yael's new relationship and explore them trying to get over their communication issues, learning to work past their own worldview, and see what the other person is seeing in order to continue being friends at all. It would be rather sad to see this relationship completely fall apart and them never be together again, and unfortunately that's a possibility that we just can't rule out. But until then, I'm gonna be optimistic here. Maybe it's just to me, but this is a very exciting storyline. A lot of times we see couples break up over events or wanting different things, but not quite because they aren't able to talk to each other in a way that the other would understand. And as anyone who's watched enough of my videos know, I love it when Degrassi highlights an aspect of real life that we just don't get to see anywhere else. It's not often talked about issue between couples that unfortunately leads to a lot of relationships breaking down. As always, thank you so much for consuming my video, and until next time.